HuntsvilleAttic. It's the Smile or Else Show. And here's your host, Mike, the Voice Matthews.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Smile or Else Show. That was the Anchor Thieves as usual. Kind of a big day here in HuntsvilleAttic. Lots of guests. But with me, as always, is...
Robbie Billups.
James Lineback.
Brooks Gibbs.
John Holshoe.
Jonathan Printz.
And my name is Mike Matthews. In the background, walking around, being himself, is Dave Locke. So we might get him to jump in every once in a while. So...
Delightful Dave!
Delightful Dave, there you go. All right, today's episode is high school movies, high school movie themed.
We also have a
I didn't know she
charismatic
was-
Chelsea around here, I believe.
Charismatic Chelsea's in here, too. I didn't know if she was going to participate or not, or she was just going to just disappear on us. So, all right.
Welcome to HuntsvilleAttic, one and all.
So today is high school movies, high school movie themes,
Like movies you saw while you were in high school?
high school based.
See, that was something we talked about
I got to
earlier,
change
yeah.
my list.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, sorry. You don't have to speak at once because I know it's a rough time in a lot of people's lives. But does anybody want to tell about their high school experiences?
I liked high school all right, I guess. There's some good and bad.
What kind-
Overall, I would say it was all right. It was decent.
what would your classification be? Were you the nerd, the jock, the the prom queen?
I was the nerdy, cool, funny class clown guy. Was that good enough, James? James went to high school with me.
I guess that kind of works.
I kind of didn't fit in any of the cliques. I guess.
Nobody
I don't
liked
know.
you.
Hey, people liked me. Everybody liked me.
We did make fun of him.
Yeah.
It was Lee High School, so I mean,
Yeah, Lee
I
High
don't know,
School.
I mean,
So
I mean, yeah, I was class of 96. No, I mean, I know.
Yeah, I was class 99. So
you go.
there's everybody there was kind of
000.
cool.
We were,
I guess.
see, the problem was that we didn't win a lot of football games. So,
Yeah.
there
That
was
finally happened my
so-
senior year though.
yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, I went 4 years, and I think we actually won, like, 2 games.
We didn't win a single game my fucking freshman year.
It was
I don't
awful.
think.
It was awful.
So I went to Grissom, and
The Tigers were okay.
our opening game.
We were all right.
My 4 years was always against Lee, and we always won.
You went to Grissom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a
That
Tiger.
explains some things.
It does
Yeah.
explain a lot of things, actually.
Well, I think Charismatic Chelsea also went to Grissom, so if you're going to hate on me, then you're going to have to hate on her.
Yeah. But did you play football, Mike?
Yeah, I played
I think
football.
that explains.
Yeah, that,
something.
I
that
did-
does explain head injuries and all. Yeah, definitely.
I did football and basketball, so...
I can see that.
What about you, Holshoe? How was your high school?
Oh, my high school sucked.
Where'd you
Or
go?
at least my experience. I went to school in Michigan. I'm not from down here. Unfortunately, I
Was it
started
in Detroit.
Yeah, I just tell everybody Detroit because that's the only place people. It's actually a little a city called Three Rivers. Unfortunately, we had moved down there like junior high, and everybody established their cliques. So when high school started, I was already an outsider, and so I tried to fit in, but it was awful. And I actually was banned from band.
Banned from
I was
band.
banned
Were you
from
that good?
band.
Were you that
yeah,
good?
I tried it. I wanted to play drums, and I don't have rhythm, which is apparently a requirement for playing drums. So
Yeah.
I tried trumpet, and I didn't really have my
You gotta
heart.
have rhythm to play anything, dude, basically.
I agree with you there.
Even triangle.
that was an option. I would have done triangle if that was an option. So I tried trumpet. And they're like, well, we have a trumpet spot. Do trumpet. And I really sort of like phoned it in. I didn't want to be there, but it was one of those classes like you could take band as opposed to taking a PE class.
Yeah,
and
right,
I was a fat kid and not athletic, and they're like, you should play basketball. You're tall. I'm like, no, oh God, no. So I took band, but I was awful at it, and I didn't want to be there either. I just didn't want to, change in front of other kids, and when I couldn't shoot hoops. So I was in band, and we had to play for chair. Is that what you guys did?
Yeah.
Is that what you guys did? Like
Yeah.
whoever was better, got the
Yeah.
first
chair,
chair.
second
So we had
chair.
Exactly,
we had
yeah.
chair tryouts, and they're like, okay, and you're up for your tryout or whatever. I'm like, you know what? I practice. I'm gonna be good at this. I'm gonna be something. I can do this. The people talk crap about me in the band. Yeah, band. People in band were talking shit about me. I was like, I'm gonna do this. So I when I came up to to play for chair, I played my little heart out. I was pretty impressed by myself. And the band teacher just starts yelling at me. Just starts screaming at me. and I'm not paying attention at all to what he's saying.
You're playing with your eyes closed.
Yeah, whatever. He's screaming or whatever, and he says, "Well, do ya?" And I was like, "Oh shit! What did he ask me?" And I was like, "No," which now I know was the wrong answer because he was like, "Get the fuck out of my class!" And he kicked me out. I was banned from band. He kicked me out of the class, and he told the principal he didn't want me back in his class. So I had to start gym.
You fucking rebel, man.
It sounds like you jammed way too hard for your teacher, and he was like, "I can't have this."
Yeah,
like,
I was so awesome
style.
at trumpet, I blew his mind.
Is there anybody from a high school movie that you can relate to? Like Robbie, I figured you would relate to Zac Efron's character from High School Musical.
Wow.
So, but if not, can you please tell us a character that does?
Well, there is that one, I guess. But I don't know. I was thinking, Can't Hardly Wait, the character Preston, played by Ethan Embry.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
him.
I really like that kid, but I think I'm most like Randy from Scream. That's what I'm saying.
Which one?
He was the
Randy?
film nerd, the film buff. The guy
the
that knew
one
all
that
the rules
explained
of the
everything.
scary movies and everything.
Jamie Kennedy from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Yes.
That's
You know,
correct.
you've been X'd.
And he went on to be on all those other Scream movies. Oh, wait, he didn't
He's-
pass the second. film.
You know, he got killed, and he deserved to, but
He deserved to.
It's because he had
you
sex.
know too many things about that movie, then you die. That's just
Yeah.
the way it is.
What about you, James?
I'm gonna go with Max Fisher. You know.
Really? Max Fisher? You were
You
nothing
loved
like
it.
Max
You
Fisher.
Didn't think
in high
about that at
school.
all, dude.
Well, no, because I was,
You loved your school that much.
Oh, he's
No, not really at all. No, I was just, I was, kind of wanted to be a writer. Was working the tech crew, was behind the scene,
You were
into
yeah,
film
that's
stuff,
totally,
film
right,
and
that's
theater
right.
stuff.
I
Not,
see that.
not saying that I was,
All right.
and I mean, me and you even worked on some scripts back in the day.
Yes, we did.
So, I
Smiler
mean-
Else Productions started in high school.
Whatever.
What about you, Brooks? Do you relate to anybody?
I'd have to say Slater from Dazed and Confused.
Hell yeah, I mean, I get that.
I can see that. I can totally see that a little bit.
'Cause, I
dude.
mean, that's what I did in high school. Was like I'd go with my buddies, we'd get stoned, and I'd like start talking stupid shit. Everybody was cool.
Have you ever seen a dollar bill, man?
That Martha Washington was a hip lady.
I can totally see that. That's a perfect answer.
I can see that. Are you cool, man?
He's asking if you smoke weed. Oh, you mean like get high?
Yeah, get high. Dude, that's a great movie. That's a great movie.
What about you, Holshoe?
I can't think of anybody offhand. I think the problem is if you do relate to those people, you're like, oh, I can identify this guy. And then halfway through the movie, he gets the girl. You're like, or at the end. That doesn't happen in real life. So you're like, fuck these people.
Were you Ducky?
It does happen.
I would have. Yeah, I would have been Ducky, always in the friend zone. I guess I would. Damn it! But I might be. I think if I was
It's
John
okay,
Cryer, I was John Cryer from Superman 4,
All right.
Don't
there you
even
There
go
you
the
there.
breakdancing
Wow.
Lex Luthor sidekick.
Wow. That
Jonathan
faux
Cryer.
hawk was not okay, dude.
Nice,
That was
cool,
faux-
nice pop culture, just fucking explosion
Boom.
there, buddy. That was nice.
So what about you, Printz? What character can you most relate to?
You know, I would say Ferris Bueller, but that just being a dickhead. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
Did you always talk to the camera?
I did.
I did. The fourth wall was not in my way. If you know anything about theater, I mean, I think that was one of the amazing parts of that film was that Ferris talks to all of us. That was a huge part, and like I was thinking about the other day. Hughes picked Matthew Broderick because he was that kind of guy who could associate with us, and I still feel like I associate with people. Like I see you. You're a big part of my life because you're Nick Lineback's little brother. I remember the fuck out of you. I don't like you over here because you're a fucking Cowboys fan.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome. But I come here and I want to tell everybody something. There's something to say, I mean, so
Me,
I was on the Ferris Bueller
Nice.
I was more the Judge Reinhold character from
guy.
Fast Times.
Really? From Fast? Really?
I
You
had
worked at a,
job. I had a job. I didn't work at. I worked at a garden center.
I
No,
hear
just
these
the whole
things
the whole thing with the girlfriend and working, and it's just like getting ready for.
Did you work at Long John Silver? Have to
No.
wear a pirate hat?
Because that was
That
all
would
about
have been awesome.
Totally.
No, I do miss the pirate hats.
When I was a kid, I loved those pirate hats. Those Burger King crowns, fuck them, man. It's the pirate hat from Long John Silver, man. I
You're
bet
right.
they're
There
on
was
eBay.
only so many
I bet they're on
cool-
eBay.
Oh yeah, totally.
Everything's on eBay.
All right, Robbie,
Yes, Mike.
let's go to the social network and see what the fans have to say.
Well, that is right. We asked everybody on our social media what their favorite high school movies were. Movies pertaining to high school. Here's some of the. We got some interesting comments here. Cam, our buddy Cam, said Breakfast Club or Heathers. The faculty screamed Carrie behind that. Andy Roughton said Fast Times. Scott Green said Empire Records. I don't know if that counts.
Doesn't count.
But, yeah. Lane Fox, great answer. Teen Wolf and Karate Kid.
Karate Kid, of course.
Yes.
Jen Franson, 10 Things I Hate About You. Dave Gillespie, as well as Ed Walls, owner of The Deep, say Rock and Roll High School. Jesse Powell says, Bring It On, Don't Judge Me.
Bring it on, really?
Yeah, Bring It On.
That's the
It's
judging
high
has
school-y.
begun.
And one of the we always get the funniest responses from Mike Finley. Here's Mike Finley. He said, Homeroom, 10 Things I Hate About You, Varsity Blues, Remember the Titans, and the Jason Biggs classic, Boys and Girls. Oh, exactly, right?
Where does he
Wait,
go to
did
find
that's
this shit?
Did you put the word classic? Right?
Yeah.
Tell me he didn't write the word classic.
I put that, not him.
I really want to get Finley on a podcast just to pick his
Yes.
movie mind.
Dog
We
to
find out
appreciate.
where he gets
He
this
also
stuff
said
from?
not another teen movie is really good. To which Holshoe defended him. Just gonna say that.
It is hilarious, but it has an all-star cast. If you look back, on
They
it,
really
those
do work on
crappy,
it, yeah.
Those crappy films. It's actually pretty funny, and Captain America's in it. I mean, he was in some stuff before that, but that was his big break.
Oh my goodness.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right,
No.
there's one thing that we'll move on real quick, but not another teen movie was a killer soundtrack. Anybody?
Soundtracks, yeah. Soundtracks are huge. No, I agree with that.
So does anybody have a favorite soundtrack from one of these?
An
one of these
entire
films?
film. That's
See, there are a
tough.
lot of
That's
songs.
the songs exactly, but it's hard.
Like,
to
if you
find-
look at the John
song,
Hughes
or,
stuff.
song or soundtrack. I mean, I'll take either one.
Well, you look at the John Hughes stuff.
Yeah, the John Hughes stuff. There's always a hook.
There's-
that is phenomenal.
Of
Psychedelic
course.
Furs. I
Don't
mean,
you
like,
forget
yeah.
about me,
Yeah, sure. Simple
right?
Minds. Yeah.
Weird Science by Oingo
Boingo
Boingo.
Boingo. Yeah, sure.
You know, if I had to pick a single high school movie, the entire soundtrack, because of how perfect it was for the time period and for the movie, I'll go Dazed and Confused.
Foghat, baby.
Foghat.
well, yeah,
Foghat.
definitely
and
love
Aerosmith.
Foghat.
You don't,
As
it doesn't
far as-
hurt
yeah,
to
as
open
far
your
as
movie
they
with Sweet
put together-
Emotion.
Yeah, it is a soundtrack that's put together well. Yes, you are correct.
So I'll just
I
go
actually
there.
own both. They had released
They're
like
both
the first
great.
one and the second one. are
Even
amazing.
more Dazed and
Even more
Confused.
Dazed. Exactly. Those were such great soundtracks. Yeah.
It even makes Summer Love one
It
of my
covered
favorite
the
songs.
time frame, which was a great time. I mean, like the
Yeah.
flip over was great in that.
And it's
experience.
perfect in that movie, and it's just,
Sure.
yeah.
They went to high school at Lee High School. I mean, how
They
could
did,
that
and it looked
Yes.
like our Lee High School
colors
on
were
the
the same.
a
outside.
little
It's kinda
bit,
crazy.
a little bit. I hate to be like
So
that.
it was
be
Lee
like,
High School in
whatever,
Texas, huh?
But it was the Generals, so we were the Generals. They were the Rebels.
Yeah.
So yeah,
We're a little bit more PC.
Little PC, little PC.
B-U-T-L-E-R, Butler.
Isn't that kind of cheating though? Because John Hughes went
Kinda
out and
is.
he had this ear for sound and picked these songs that that people grew to love or they discover later on. And meanwhile, if you do a period piece, which
You can go back and
you can go back and then pick
No,
the
that's
good
why that
songs.
soundtrack is better
That's
because
cheating. It's
nothing
cheating.
is
That
cheating.
is true, because
It's
if
cheating.
you went back and did a period piece of the 80s, you would use songs that were in John Hughes movies.
You would totally do that. No,
Yeah.
I mean, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So, yeah, I get what you're saying. Absolutely.
He was ahead of his time, I think. He had an eye.
He was
for that kind
way
stuff.
ahead of his time. No,
Yeah,
John Hughes-
absolutely.
An eye for music.
A great eye for
An eye
music.
for music. I like that. I like that.
Could taste with his ear. Some
He
would
could
say.
taste with his ears.
Brooks, you got a particular favorite soundtrack and or song?
No, mine would be Dazed and Confused as well. Really. Was
Brooks is
really-
just that kind of guy. He likes you like classic rock a lot.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
thing
'cause
is,
me and
yeah,
my dad
we
Brooks'
used to
top
always
five
make
is
me
going to be
listen
Dazed
to-
and Confused for all the five. He's pulling a Kevin.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, my dad used to listen to classic rock 106.1 like
TAK?
every day driving to and from school. So
It's TAK,
it was like I was already into classic rock before I'd even seen Dazed. and
Now I think
Confused.
they play Smash Mouth.
As was I. I mean,
Yeah,
like, yeah, I
they-
mean, like,
they put,
if
like,
your
Stone
parents had
Temple
any kind of real
Pilots and
taste,
Pearl
they had
Jam,
some
man.
classic rock in their world. I mean, like,
James, did we hit you on the soundtrack?
No, you did not.
All right, what you got for us?
I'm totally going Karate Kid, man. Because I'm,
you're the
all
best.
about, yeah.
Around.
you can tell me, you can actually tell me 3 songs on the soundtrack. Since you like the whole soundtrack.
Ooh, no. I was,
'Cause I'll go
it has 2 of
Gremlins.
my favorites.
It's about Christmas. I mean, like, come on, man. Really?
That's why I didn't pick a John Hughes soundtrack. Because
Yeah,
I was
don't
like,
do
you know,
it, 'cause
it's just one
there's a
song from
really-
each
yeah,
movie.
Exactly. You know,
That's
I
why I
mean,
went with not another teen movie because it's all
Well, sure.
Well, hey,
Wait,
all
did-
modern
wait,
I
did-
love Bananarama, okay?
Yeah, I do
Do
too.
you own the
I do
soundtrack
too.
to Karate Kid? Do you own it?
No.
Okay, then why are you saying you do love it? Because I actually own Footloose, like the whole soundtrack. I own it. I do.
And he just only
Because you
admitted
know what?
that to all of
I
us.
can tell you songs
Wow.
on that
Surprise.
shit. Almost Paradise is a great song, man. It's a great song.
All right. Speaking of music and high school experiences, does anybody have a
This is a fucking
when you
high
were
school
when,
movie, dude.
when you were in high school? Robbie, you kind of brought this up, so I kind of wanted to dive a little bit deeper. But like Nirvana's Nevermind and Lithium and Inurdo was really big for me in high school.
In
Oh,
high school,
okay,
sure,
that
but
was-
it's
in
your
hi-
specific
in-
experience,
for you.
In high
right?
school, for
Yeah,
me, it was the
yeah.
Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Smashing Pumpkins.
Good for you,
Soundgarden.
dude, to be honest.
But it was
That
for a
my
lot of
middle
people
school.
too. I
Good
want to
for
point
you.
out that it was
Old
a
man.
lot of people have that feeling. There's a large group of people that have that.
And I was just trying to curious to what everybody, whatever, like Red Hot Chili. That's what I was really, really into. I was just kind of wanting to know what everybody else was into during high school.
In high school?
In high
In
school.
high school?
I mean, I was into hip hop. I was into mainstream hip hop, like DMX and Jay Z and Outkast. I was into
Third base.
mainstream.
I had that on vinyl at the house.
I was
Not
into
joking.
mainstream
I can
rock
go
at the time. You know,
Rage
unfortunately,
Against the
rock
Machine.
kind of, you know, I was still into like the stuff that was cool when I was in middle school, like Green Day, Rage Against the Machine. When I was in high school, though, unfortunately, there was some bad stuff like Limp Bizkit, Korn, Kid Rock. Luckily, though, we had a Beastie Boys album when I was in high school. So Hello Nasty came out. That was pretty cool. So I would say in my entire era of high school, being in high school, that or Adore by the Smashing Pumpkins or some Blur stuff or Oasis stuff would probably be my favorites. I really liked Offspring too, I guess. I mean, I really
Come out
like
and
Blur and Oasis and
Yeah,
you know, stuff like that. Outkast I loved a lot.
What about you, Holshoe?
they were awesome.
I listened to just a bunch of different rock. And then-
Weezer.
but most importantly, yeah, when I discovered Weezer, changed my perception of music completely. I'm still a hardcore Weezer fan. I've seen him 7 times in concert. I actually patted Rivers on the back when I saw him in Birmingham. He was up there in the VIP, and he turned around. I'm like, Rivers. I never washed that hand. No, okay. And
That's that smell.
and so yeah, when I discovered, I think too, you ultimately find your own music in high school. You find what music you most identify with because you go through a lot in high school.
Right.
And hopefully you don't, discover DMX in high school because that may screw you up as a person. Hopefully you discover something with a little more depth. And I also grew up. My mom had good music.
Oh,
My mom had good music, and I didn't realize how great her music taste was. She listened to a lot of James Taylor, McCartney, and
Talented musicians.
Fleetwood Mac. Yeah, my mom had good taste in music, and so I didn't realize that till later on, just how great her taste was in music.
hey,
That's one.
oh, that's a Rough Riders roll.
That's what I kind
Stop.
of agree with you with that because
Drop.
it's like
Shut them down, open
Neil
up
Diamond.
shop. Took me a second to remember.
like Neil Diamond. I was like, fuck
I
Neil
love me
Diamond in
some
high
Neil
school.
Diamond, man.
But then later on, as
can
I grew
tell.
older,
This, by the way,
you
is
know
going to
what?
be a
Neil
very
Diamond
long
is-
podcast.
Neil Diamond's not really that bad.
First 4-hour podcast.
He's not, dude.
No, that was the first one. So, what about you, James? Do you have?
I listen to a lot of like indie hip hop, like
Like
Cool
Rap Says?
Keith and that kind of stuff.
He did.
He's
Hey,
like-
I know. I remember you listened to a lot of Nas
Yeah, that
in
too.
high school.
Yeah.
So was that the
Some
trend?
cannabis.
Was that
He
the
got me
trend?
into Nas and cannabis. Actually, I remember that. You also got me into Del the Funky Homo Sapien.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. By the way.
Yeah, like really into stuff I guess at that time from the Bay Area.
What about you, Brooks? Music in high school? Any personal favorites?
Well, Chronic 2001 was the album when I was a senior.
You graduated
one
a year
I
after me,
remember.
right? 2000.
Yeah, 2000.
The best year.
All right.
ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it came out my senior year of high
That,
school.
that was you
Everybody,
too.
Yeah.
I was out of high
everybody,
school.
everybody was playing that album all the time after it came out. That or Eminem's first album.
That really.
Like those are
Yeah,
the two
yeah. I
albums.
forgot Eminem came out when I was a senior.
Yeah.
Also, I forgot Bone Thugs and Harmony, Crossroads.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
that's-
my
that's the
god.
best.
That,
Yeah,
that's
both
really
those
weird that the
crosses.
mere fact that I was in bars drinking when Brooks was graduating high school.
I know, right?
Well, that's because you're freaking old.
Just a few years, in
years,
between
man.
us. Come on.
I was banging somebody's mom, I'm sure.
People still talking about that one killer house party you threw back in the day.
that actually disturbed me quite a bit, actually.
Printz throws a major house party back in his high school days, and people to this day will come up to him and be like,
Actually, still talk
"Yo,
about
dude,
it.
That high school party you threw, that was the shit. No, when are we going to do that again? We got to do that again." All right, let's get back to the podcast questions. Authority figures. Vernon, Principal Vernon from Breakfast Club.
Breakfast Club, yes.
I always liked him as a character. And even when he kind of almost reprised that role, but not really in Van Wilder, but the dickish, hardcore principal that wants to make you try to better yourself almost, but not
But
really.
he's basically just on a power trip.
But yeah.
It was always that in John Hughes film. There had to be that guy, the authoritative, like, alpha male who was trying to do it all. Yeah, definitely.
Anybody a fan of the vice principal from Ferris Bueller?
I like him a
Oh
lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's the dean of
Rudy
students.
there.
Rudy, yeah.
Yeah,
Jeffrey Jones.
I mean, love his ineptitude. How he just keeps getting into worse and worse situations in that movie.
Gets punched or kicked by Jennifer Grey.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's like worse than the Belding Zach Morris thing, dude.
Oh yeah,
And
terrible.
that's where
I
it
mean,
all
he's like
boiled
going
down.
to his fucking house and trying to fucking scope him out and shit.
He's got it one more time, man.
Yeah, most of these movies always have that authority figure that's like,
Just that inept.
yeah,
He's that much of a jackass, but he's
Well,
that
like in
inept. yeah.
Dazed and Confused, it was the coach. You know, sign that paper. You know,
sign this paper, Randall
The
Pink Floyd. Randall Floyd, you better get your priorities straight.
and how cool of a name is that to be in the 70s?
No shit, right?
It just happens that way.
You better watch that other crowd you're running with. Don't think I haven't noticed. You know who I like? Mr. Hand from Fast Times.
Sure.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
And he
teacher.
had
My
that
favorite
moment
Martian.
there with Spicoli where they understood each other, man.
And they did.
And that, and like for real, like and like it really. One of my favorite scenes is when Spicoli orders the pizza, and Mr. Hand just has everybody just fucking eat the pizza in front of Spicoli.
Yeah,
He's
he
like,
shares the
Sean
experience.
Penn's face is just like,
Yeah.
it's like somebody done kicked his dog.
Yeah, exactly.
The another one that I love that, and I don't know if anybody else does, but it's the principal from Back to the Future.
ah, yes,
So
the bald guy.
the bald
right?
guy, yeah.
Yeah. God bless
Bullock?
America.
Yeah, well,
I don't remember the character's
Slacker.
name.
Oh God.
so, but here's another one, and I'll give Back to the Future as a high school movie. So
Well, no, it has to be.
Oh, it
I mean,
definitely
the whole
is high
experience
school.
is high school. I mean,
because he goes back to prom
yeah.
to save his family.
It is.
all right, you want to hit us up the social media again
Yeah, I
one more
got
time?
some more social media here. Let's see. Lisa Walls says Fast Times at Richmond High. Kelsey Patton says Rushmore. Justin Smith says Dazed and Confused. Summer School. That's a good
That's
one.
actually a very classic one.
Or
yeah,
Rock
definitely.
and Roll High School. Tyler Reynolds says Varsity Blues and Fast Times. And my cousin Brandon says Dazed and Confused. And Dustin Ward says Back to the Future, Grease, and Donnie Darko. More to come later.
Cool. All right, we're going to take a short break, come back with the top 5, and maybe a little bit more in depth of our high school experience. So, enjoy the song.
Don't you put off today what you
All right, everybody. Welcome back. My name is Mike Matthews. Today with me is an awesome cast of characters. We have special guest,
John Printz.
special guest,
John Holshoe.
special guest,
Charismatic Chelsea.
and the usual crew.
James Lineback.
Rockin' Robbie Billups.
And Brooks.
And a special guest.
Delightful Dave.
Yes, it's Dave Locke, ladies and gentlemen. Dave Locke. All right, Robbie, what you got for us on the social media?
Yes, final social media update. Everybody apparently loves high school movies. I'm sure there's a reason for that. Clem Urban says Carrie, The Faculty, Fast Times at Richmond High, and The Breakfast Club. Stephen Sharple says The Breakfast Club, 3 O'Clock High, and Lucas. James Donahue said, I'm going to break the mold and go with Class of 99. Randy Brumlow says Superbad. Billy Wilburn says Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Lauren Alexander said Mean Girls. Our dear friend Chelsea says 10 Things I Hate About You. Twilight, LOL. Jawbreaker and Mean Girls. Brandy Mason Woods, Can't Hardly Wait and Mean Girls. Our good friend Pimp, James Holder, said Pump Up the Volume.
Dance,
Designed my life around that.
And
I want you
probably,
to know that.
probably the best answer we've gotten all night. Justin Goldsmith, Justified Justin, we know him.
Yes, friend of the show, been
He
on the show.
says the Kurt Russell classic, Sky High.
Oh, that's an excellent movie.
Kelly
Yeah.
Preston. Yeah, definitely.
Most definitely.
Bruce Campbell. Let's go to a big topic that we've kind of danced around all night, and that is John Hughes. We all love John Hughes movies. I'm pretty sure there's a John Hughes movie somewhere on our top 10.
Well, I
Or-
thought the reason why we had two Johns in the Huntsville Attic tonight was because the 80s high school movies dominated by two Johns, John Hughes and John Cusack, right?
That's true. So,
Phenomenal.
Get it? Right? I tied all that together. John.
all right.
Congratulations.
I mean, seriously.
So, John
I mean,
Prince, tell us about John
You're
Hughes.
such a genius.
John Hughes is an amazing actor, a director as far as it's concerned. He came into the game and started working with National Lampoon's Vacation, and then jumped into his first directorial debut, Pretty in Pink, and 16 Candles, and he actually grasped the demographic of high school student better than I've ever seen ever. He took the jock, the nerd, the rebel. You know, I mean, he found a way to express all of that, and did it more better than anyone else I've ever seen before.
Holshoe, you had you said you liked John Hughes, but you're more a fan of his non-high school stuff. You want to go into the details?
Yeah, well, I
about
enjoyed the
some of
high
that?
school stuff. It wasn't until I was older that I comprehended, enjoyed the high school stuff more. But when I was little, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Dutch, and I mean he's either written or directed just a ton of films, and Home Alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just so much more than his high school movies, but I think his high school movies probably have more staying power. I mean, you look back on it, and there's definitely more influence, or I mean, even you look at movies today, and the cliche stuff was probably taken from a John Hughes film, which wasn't cliche at the time.
Not another teen movie.
Not Another Teen Movie was pretty much a John Hughes throwback.
Homage.
Yeah, exactly. And like,
Homage, yeah, definitely.
yeah, exactly, like a comedic twist on that. Well, every high school movie.
I think Can't Hardly Wait, definitely.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, it's like kids in high school today and kids in high school 20 years from now can sit back and watch a John Hughes high school film and be like, that's me. I know that feeling.
Yeah, they'll laugh at the size of cell phones and headphones and cassettes and 8-tracks and the type of cars.
All right. Well, it's time for the meat.
The meat.
The meat.
The meat.
It's
The
the meat.
meat.
The meat.
So meaty.
So meaty. That was nice.
All right. Top 5 favorite high school movies. This is going to be a long one because we have so many guests. So let's get on with it. Guests go first. John, what's your number 5?
Number 5.
John 1 or 2.
John Prince.
Yeah, exactly. That's hard.
That'd be John number 1 because he's older.
Thing 1 and thing 2.
Thanks. Number 5. Can't Hardly Wait. Like, I liked it, but I was a little older. So, I mean, I felt back into the whole experience, but I liked where it was coming from. I did. Can't Hardly Wait is my movie of 5. Yeah.
Cool. Holshoe, what's your number 5?
I agree with John. Great Johns think alike.
they do.
and Can't Hardly Wait was phenomenal. I think had great music at the time. It still does. And that was great, as
Eve 6, baby.
Yeah, I'm graduating high school, so about that time. So it
Yeah,
sort of
definitely.
like hit close to home. And phenomenal cast, Ethan Embry and Seth Green. And
Dude, the jock and the nerd in that movie. And Guns N' Roses, Paradise
Guns N' Roses,
City.
yeah, Paradise
Yes.
City.
There you
We're
go.
talking about
Jerry
soundtracks
O'Connell
earlier.
and his younger
you
brother playing him. I mean, like
Yeah.
that was
Yes.
impressive. The combo of brothers.
And you remember Breckenmeyer and
Yes.
the other dude from Scrubs and Clueless that were in the band, and he's like, "You're wearing our own shirt." Did you do that?
No,
But then
Can't Hardly Wait
Breckenmeyer's
is
dressed like
so
Prince.
phenomenal.
All right, Dave Locke, what's your number 5, sir?
Napoleon Dynamite. I went to that high school. Thank you.
Come and eat this
I hear you.
ham.
I hear you. I hear you.
Get your ham, Tina. I'm going to jump in and also say that my number 5 is Napoleon Dynamite also. So just out there, a little indie high school movie about being in the Midwest. But everybody can relate to Napoleon and that character of being just...
I can't. What are you talking about?
I have skills.
My
Girls
high
like
school
me.
had a FFA, so I can
I
relate
was
to
in
that kind
FFA.
of stuff.
All right.
FFA was awesome, dude.
There's a
to grow
part of all
plants
of
and
us that
shit.
can relate to Napoleon in
I
some way.
Napoleon might be one of my higher picks. I don't know yet.
All right, Brooks, what you got?
My number 5, no one's probably seen it. It's called Death Note.
What bullshit? I have seen Death
This
Note.
isn't the
I've read the
anime
manga
episode,
too.
buddy.
Don't be like that, dude. Don't be like that.
Okay, so
It's
one
a
guy
manga.
knows. Not one
okay?
guy has seen Death Note, the movie.
I
But,
have.
it
There's
is
a
based
sequel,
on-
too.
Is this the
This is-
live action movie?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
live
it's a live action
one,
movie.
Tell us
I
about
watched
it.
it just like 2 months ago.
Well,
it's good
it's
shit.
actually
Well-
about this high school student. He's like top of his class. He's the smartest kid in his class. He's the police chief's son, He's got the life, basically. And this death god drops his notebook on him.
Kind of complex.
Yeah, the notebook,
To
like, as
compared
long as he
to
writes
a John
a name.
Hughes film.
Yeah, as long as he writes a name in the notebook, that person will die.
It's in high school though.
But there are like rules.
Impressed.
You have to know, have seen the person's face and all this other shit. But he abuses his power, and then like his dad, of course, being the police chief, has to like find the people who's murdering people, and it's pretty cool movie.
You gotta shut it
It's like a
down.
high school student who like gets the power of a god, and like he abuses it. It's really cool.
Well, I would expect a high school student.
It
to
is
use that
phenomenal as a
power.
high school. If you pick, I know I'm not against that. I mean, like, yeah, Death Note is an insane concept of high school like retardedness.
All right, James, what's your number 5?
I'm gonna go 10 Things I Hate About You, because it's a modern retelling of Shakespeare.
Yes, Taming of the Shrew.
Tell me what I was about to say. Why don't you tell me what play it?
Well, yeah,
Actually
it's easy because
is.
it rhymes with the same title.
Is
10
O
Things I
going to be
Hate
your
About
number
You.
4?
Taming of the Shrew.
That was on a lot of
They
people's
kinda made
list
it
tonight
easy.
on Facebook. That's a good movie, man.
Is O going to be your number 4?
No,
Yeah,
see-
I want to hear O though.
Well, no, the thing about it is, though, it introduced Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
It did. And Heath
Introduced?
Ledger.
Heath Ledger.
Well,
Are you
that's
kidding
like
me?
his first big
Not
super
super
role.
introduced, but into film, I guess. Yeah,
I
cinematic
guess to
history.
film. I mean, come on, a little bit.
Third Rock from the
Third
Sun.
Rock to the Sun is pretty hardcore before you ever got there. Yeah.
Who really remembers that show, though?
John Lithgow.
John Lithgow.
I remember that. You know what's
Thank
way
you,
better than that
John.
show?
I feel like
Harry and
being
the
like,
Henderson.
like Wonder Twin Power over here.
Yeah.
I mean,
John
come
Lithgow.
on,
The
dude.
Johns, right?
The Johns are on
You know,
fire.
we can go with that.
Robbie, what's your number 5?
Well, I'm embarrassed. 1998, Harry Elfont, Deborah Kaplan. Can't hardly wait. Can't hardly wait. I love that movie. Came out when I was graduating. It's kind of like a John Hughes movie, but in the 90s. It's got all the different fucking nerd types.
It was one of the better,
I love it.
formulaic come out behind.
Yeah.
Because the cast was great. It really was.
and it-
was
it-
the same kind of situation.
It really
sure.
wasn't respected while it was and like
It shouldn't have been, though.
the people that made that movie. It was made to be an R-rated movie.
Yes.
But they had to then make it by the studio's request a PG-13 movie. So
To sell, yeah.
if you
Sure.
watch the movie, you'll see in the background,
Ice cream cones and
there's
pizzas.
supposed to be people like for instance, there's this thing where these people they have a beer bong and they're doing all this beer in this beer bong, but they couldn't show them drinking alcohol. So they CG'd in the fact that they were in the background making balloon animals. Like for real, you know, like they're taking a hit off of a bong, but instead they're eating an ice cream cone. Something like that. It's like it's absolutely weird. It's very weird because they changed the movie.
Well, they
Amber
had to.
Benson played the girl that was all out of it. It was because she was the pothead in the movie, but they cut out all the references to her.
Did they
smoking
recut
pot.
it, or is it actually
They
CG?
completely recut it, and they did CG things.
And that
in
was
there.
the pinnacle of CG. Was '98. We
Yes,
all know.
it was.
Yeah,
a
and they
good
were like, we
example.
got to put balloon animals in this fucking
yeah.
movie,
Food
right?
animals and ice cream.
It sold well. I mean, if you look at the whole movie, it's the
But I
Come
love
on
it.
now.
It works. You know, it's about the nerd.
Lazy
It's into the
Gerbo
girl.
was like
Great
the-
soundtrack.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a formulaic film, but it works well in how
And-
it. I mean,
Oh,
like,
Mandy, you came.
are you kidding
and
me?
you-
Yeah, I'm Barry Manilow. Let's get real super gay and then bring it back a notch. That's what else we can do.
All right, what's your number 4, John? Prince.
Oh God, number 4. I'm gonna go Pretty in Pink. I still it should be higher, but Pretty in Pink is still 4. It's a classic Hughes, but it like I believe earlier we were talking about. It's from such a feministic look. I'm too much of a misogynist to give it any higher than 4.
Plus,
I
it's
like
got the chick
Ducky
from Ghostbusters,
Ducky,
right?
Well,
And Designing Women.
that's hey.
And he
I'm throwing him in
pops.
there because Harry Dean Stanton. Harry Dean Stanton is hard. in That whole
He's always
experience.
awesome.
Yeah, and he's the dad.
Smoking his
He's such a
cigarettes,
drunk
wearing
dad.
his,
like Dennis Hopper
Hawaiian shirt.
wants to be the Harry Stanton of drunk dads. Okay, like I'm just saying.
All right, Holshoe, what's
Sorry.
your number 4?
Go ahead.
Varsity Blues.
Varsity Blues are sad, Bruce.
You like the pig, huh?
Well, it was again, but the time it came out too. You know, about the time I was graduating, and I'm from a small town, so literally like 20 people, and in that, you know, football and basketball, just high school sports, there was way too much emphasis on that, and it kind of spoke, you know, to me. I mean, I didn't play football or anything like that, but it definitely hit close to home, and I look back on it now, and it's high school sports. How many of these people went on to do anything? There was the neighbor town though, which is Kalamazoo, was home to Gibson Guitars, by the way, or was. A little baseball player came from there named Derek Jeter. And he's done pretty well for himself, but for the most part,
Yeah, little.
for the
baseball
most
player.
part, there wasn't people like nobody from my
Yankee.
high school was going on to do anything, you know, other than work at Kmart and meth. Oh wait, they closed the
Touche.
Kmart down in my town, so they're unemployed.
So it's just meth now.
It's just meth. Yeah, we have a Walmart now. They got a Walmart, so people
Speaking-
are pretty excited.
Speaking of living in a meth town, Dave, what's your number 4?
Number 4 is going to be Toy Soldiers. I don't know if
Oh,
you've ever seen
that's
this
a
film.
good.
I think we
movie.
all
Used to
fall
make me
down.
Many
Cry.
action films named tonight.
You're making
Had
me
Sean
mad.
Astin, Will Wheaton of Star
Will
Trek fame.
Wheaton.
Oh wow,
Correct.
Will Wheaton.
I read the book. I actually have read the book.
High schoolers.
There's a book.
Yes, there
High
is a
schoolers
novel.
stopping
Read it.
terrorists from taking them over and giving them up for ransom.
Years before GW. And that one kid gets caned.
Years after Red Dawn.
Oh, you kidding me?
Ooh,
Head
Red
Lewis,
Dawn.
Gossett
It's tough
Jr.
being a brother in it.
Enough said.
All right, Brooks, what's your number 4?
Super bad.
Super bad. That's a good movie, man.
Yeah, I like the.
The stoner part.
It's a group of goofy friends getting into fucked up situations. That's just kind of the kind of comedy I like, I guess.
Your
It reminds me of
typical high
old
school,
days.
college,
Yeah.
or high school party scene. James, what's your number 4?
I'm gonna go Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Many reasons, obviously. 2.
Another one that was listed a lot on our
That
Facebook.
might be like maybe number 1. I'm just gonna go there.
Number 4.
Number 4 is.
I am interested to see what's above that.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
my-
On your
I mean,
list.
I'm gonna be experiencing this too with you.
I'm pretty sure there's some French independent high school film in there that he hasn't told us about yet. And nobody's ever
Because,
seen.
you know, like John Hughes knew a lot about people. But Cameron Crowe, when he wrote Fast Times, he knew a lot about youth culture in the 80s. You know, like for real. I don't know. I'm interested to see what's beyond 4. For James.
What's your number 4, Robbie?
I'd love to hear
My
this.
number 4 is the 1986 Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Love that movie. I don't think it's very realistic, but it's a very fun movie. And that is
go to
Ferris
high
Bueller is the kid everybody wants to be in high school.
Funny fact,
'Cause
I
of
used
vests.
to fake being sick to skip school just to watch that film.
Well, that's very appropriate.
Because people
Dave
do
Locke.
that. Because if you're even half as cool as him, then you do shit
know
like
if I
that.
had
I sing in the shower and talk to the camera even though it's not there.
I don't know.
So
I
does that
go
count?
back and think about it.
Why's
I
the
think
camera gotta
I
be
can,
there?
They didn't have to be there.
All right, my number 4 is going to be American Graffiti. Killer soundtrack, killer cast, great story.
Would you argue the best George Lucas movie?
Yeah,
Are you
it's
kidding
up
me?
there. Best directed George Lucas movie. What's your number 3, Prince?
Number 3. Ooh, interesting. 16 Candles. It is John Hughes' first film, and I really enjoy it. It might be I believe it's Cusack's first film.
It is as the geek.
As the geek, yeah, the
So you
dork.
said the dork
Anthony
and
Michael
the geek.
Hall.
The leading
Anthony
man
Michael Hall
was
is
the
the
geek.
dork. That is his actual, he's in the 3rd credit. But yeah, it's yeah. And Joan Cusack, who this day is one of the hottest women I've ever met in headgear. Yeah. There's a lot of famous, great stuff. But John's my boy. John Cusack is a great example. It's Hughes's probably quintessential. His directorial debut is 16 Candles. It's probably his best example of high school at its rawest form because it's so quick and just witty, and the whole world is around it. I mean, it's gangster. To know Jake Ryan is to love Jake Ryan. I mean, it's pretty gross. It's every girl wants to. Come on now, Jake Ryan.
I would.
Yeah, exactly. So
I would.
I mean, it's an interesting experience. Like when you turn that age, it was so deep, you know. But yeah, that's my 3. 16 Candles, sweet.
Plus
All right.
Long Duck Dong.
I didn't want to say it because I like to think about things, you know. But I crushed your automobile.
You don't open Pandora's box, motherfucker.
Oh please.
All right, Holshoe, what's your number 3?
Well, he already said it was Fast Times at Ridgemont High, which he was James' number 4, but phenomenal. Just and one of Cameron Crowe's earliest works, like you said. But he actually went undercover back to high school.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was like
it's
the
been
plot
like-
of Never Been Kissed.
Yeah,
yeah,
but
it's
I
like a
guess
whole
he didn't go
semester
to
or
regular
something.
high school, right? Because he was traveling and writing for Rolling Stone. I guess he
Yeah.
had missed out on that experience. And then I guess he wrote what would eventually become a movie, but he just wrote his experience. But he said it wasn't a movie. They said there was no plot. So that eventually became a film that has a plot. I guess it has a plot.
It does,
And
yes.
and also, I think that was one of the earlier films was that one of the Judge Reinhold's earliest films? Because he would become like a staple in the 80s.
Yeah.
I mean, with Axel
Beverly
Foley,
Hills
Beverly Hills
Cop,
Cop,
yes.
and
That was his original, breakout role.
All right, Brooks, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is
Oh, hold on, Brooks. We got to go to Dave.
fucking cutting me off, dude.
That's kind of fucked up, man.
fucked
up.
It's
Okay,
high
dude.
school
Number
all
three
over
was
You can't
again.
cut off the great, powerful Brooks.
That's real fucked up,
Just
dude.
did. Dave, what you got?
Number 3 is going to be Dead Poets Society.
That I almost put that on my list.
Robin Williams film.
That's a great movie.
Yes, it's good.
Yeah, it is.
It's got ups, it's got downs, it's got everything you want in a movie. Thank you.
I like how he stopped you. That's a great movie. Yes, it's good.
It's good.
It's good. Don't
It's
go
got
not
its ups,
great.
That's
it's
just
got
your
downs,
techniques,
not
it's got what
great.
you want in a movie.
And the end is a crotch shot.
And that's the movie Robin Williams should have won his first Best Supporting Actor Academy Award for.
All right, Brooks, what is your number 3?
X2, X-Men United. It's
Great answer.
How is that a high school
It
movie?
is a high
the
school
Xavier
movie.
School for Gifted Youngsters.
Iceman,
man.
Rogue,
Don't you remember the
Pyro.
opening
They're
scene
totally
in the
preparatory
mall?
School. No,
You know, the opening scene in the
unfortunately,
mall
you're
with the
correct.
food
It's a
court?
preparatory school for the gifted youth. No, I agree with that. I agree with that.
That is badass.
I mean, I'm not mad at you for being honest with yourself and everyone else in the room. No, no problem.
It's about
give
a
it-
high school getting invaded by like mutant hunting terrorists.
It's like Columbine, but on steroids.
Totally right, though.
You can relate to this firsthand. Is that
I stand
why
by
you,
it.
Maybe
Dude, he went to
can.
Brewer,
He went
dude.
to Brewer. Nah, I heard that in the first segment. Yeah.
All right, James, what's your number 3?
I'm gonna go with Better Off Dead.
another Cusack
Have you
movie.
one with Sam and Steve Holland? Okay.
Yeah, I love
You can
I
do
love
this.
his movies, man.
They're,
Both
they're,
of
They're
them.
phenomenal. There's more than 3.
Both
I'm
of
just
them.
joking. I mean, I especially loved Eek the Cat growing up.
Eek the cat.
The fact that you know who Eek is, that's impressive. That's impressive.
Who gonna test me now, right, James?
Oh,
You're like, I pulled out
exactly. There
Eek
we
the
go.
cat, motherfucker.
Oh, God. Goodness gracious.
I had to pull out a little something crazy.
Oh, definitely. I'm impressed.
I can't
I'm
believe
impressed.
pretentious James resorted to Eek the cat. But kudos to you, sir.
All right, Robbie, what's your number 3?
I hated putting it at number 3. But there are 2 amazing high school movies after it. Fast Times at Ridgemont High. We talked a lot already. Amy Eckerling directed it. Cameron Crowe wrote it after going undercover. Like Drew Barrymore, it had never been kissed. It's a very, very accurate portrayal of how teenagers act. Even today. I mean, like, for real. Even the dude who's all suave and can get you tickets everywhere. And he's a motherfucking minute man. Like, it's high school in a nutshell. I love it.
All right, my number 3 is going to be Back to the Future.
Back to the Future. The power
It's
of
Huey
love.
Lewis. Huey
Dun,
Lewis,
dun,
dude. And his
dun, dun, dun.
huge gangster penis. I'm just saying. That's just.
Yes.
I mean, just. I don't be mean. I'm just saying.
It's a great movie. Majority of everybody's seen it, and I'll leave it at that. So, time travel, crazy doctors,
And almost having sex
A
with your mom.
DMC.
Yeah.
and a DeLorean. A time travel.
Some kind of wonderful John Hughes. There's a connection there. No, there's a connection there.
All right. Well, what's your number 2, John? Printz.
Number 2 is still Fast Times at Ridgemont High. It's probably one of the best examples. Subtract Hughes because yes, everyone thinks Hughes is the best, but as one earlier, Cameron Crowe destroyed the entire process of high school understanding. If you watch that film, you really do understand that everybody has their own concept. Spicoli, Hand, as you said earlier. That guy who was like, "I got your tickets," I was like, it's an experience of every experience was there.
All right, Holshoe. What's your number 2?
Dazed and Confused.
Classic.
Not my favorite.
All right, Holshoe, keep talking.
Shut
up,
dude.
Robbie. It's okay.
No, I can't name any. Oh, okay.
I love
Go ahead,
how
I'm
we
sorry.
run. I love how he's like, we're running long. We got to make this tight, and then he pulls bullshit like this.
Because that's funny.
Enjoyable film, great
It's not
cast,
funny, it just
great
makes you an asshole.
great soundtrack. It's hard to nitpick. If there hasn't been any great high school movies, I think with the exception of Can't Hardly Wait in like the last 10 years, and I would put that, in that cusp of one of the last great high school movies.
All right, Dave. What's your number 2?
Well, I got a 3-way tie for number 2, guys.
Can you
No,
do
Wait,
that?
how can you do that?
3-way tie. They all pertain to the same subject. So, all right. Number 1 of the 3-way tie.
Wait, they're three-way.
My
tie, but
best
there's
friend is a
numerical.
vampire, starring Robert Sean
Wow.
That is not okay.
80s film.
I remember
All right.
that very well, actually.
Second one, Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Ah, yeah.
The movie?
Josh Whedon
Great
original.
movie.
Yes.
The movie.
Paul
Rubens, dude.
Paul
Makes the
Rubens,
movie.
yeah, Paul
Pee Wee
Rubens.
Herman. Thank you,
Paul
gentlemen.
Rubens.
All right.
His
Number
extended
3,
death
Once
scene.
Bitten, Jim Carrey.
Yes.
That's a good
Once
one.
Bitten.
Oh, wow.
All
That
right.
you have
Two
just,
The
of them-
high school
Two of
vampire
them-
80s
movies.
movie.
Yes.
all
two-
3 of those are very important in my existence.
Yes. Two of them,
bothers me.
guys trying to get laid. The other one, a chick killing vampires. You determine which one or which. All right.
All right, Brooks. What's your number 2, sir?
No one said what I think.
Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince.
I'm glad somebody said Harry Potter. I almost
Really?
did.
The Half-Blood
Really?
Prince.
Well, it's the most high school out of them, because they're like they have to choose their futures out. Like everybody's putting this pressure on them to do well in their tests and everything, and they have to
And
worry
he doesn't
about.
do a damn thing.
Of course, they have to worry
Fuck
about
that
Voldemort trying to kill Harry and all that.
All right, James. What's your number 2?
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
You like Ferris Bueller better than Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
I've seen it more times, man. It's just one, you know.
I'm not
kind of
hating. I'm just.
you know, high school movies are, you know,
I'm letting you all
sometimes
do your own
about
thing.
being.
But Ferris
you're
Bueller
younger.
is phenomenal. Of
Yeah.
course, I'm going to let it be.
It's great.
I mean, the whole just being
should've
your own
copied
man,
Robbie's list.
having your own style, just
The only
going
thing to
with
make
it,
him happy.
and that makes you cool.
One of my favorite parts of that movie is the end when he's running, mainly the music, the English beat or the beat with the Attack of the Bassheads. The dun 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 dun. That song, great song. All right, well I'm getting
Is
rid
this
looks
a
from.
radio show? Can't you add that song if you
Nah, I
not
don't
for
know.
legal reasons?
Well, we're already pushing it with one. Might want to push it with two.
I was going to point out real quickly that remember he got a computer because his sister got the car. He's like, oh,
Yeah,
she got the
yeah.
car, and remember her car
Yeah,
was
yeah.
a Fiero. My
Fiero,
first car
yeah.
was a Fiero
Yes.
in high school. My first, that was my first car. I was going to interject.
All right, Robbie, number 2.
Breakfast Club. John Hughes. We talked a lot about that already. Breakfast Club.
Awesome.
I love that movie growing up. I really do. I love the music in it, especially.
Is this going to be part of your breakfast episode? The
It
Breakfast
was
Club.
part of the breakfast episode that aired months ago.
My number 2 is gonna have to be Rebel Without a Cause. James Dean
I
class.
thought James was the pretentious one here.
Yeah, what the hell is that shit, dude?
What? It takes place in high school.
And Dennis Hopper.
It's Dennis Hopper,
Yeah.
who plays the
Dean,
drunk
yeah.
dad in Hoosiers.
True connection.
So,
So you're setting up a nice web there for yourself, huh?
yeah. And Dennis Hopper learned how to get drunk, the drunk technique from James Dean when James Dean was in Giant. It's a classic movie. If you haven't seen it, watch it. James Dean, killer performance. Dennis Hopper, killer performance. So, but for time's sakes, John, your number 5 was Can't Hardly Wait. Number 4 was Pretty in Pink. Number 3 is 16 Candles. Number 2, Fast Times at Ridgemont High. What is your number 1?
I would go with Say Anything, one of my favorite Cameron Crowe films of all time. I believe to know Lane Dobler is to love Lane Dobler, and Odie Sky can kiss my ass.
All right,
Oh, I
John
know.
Holshoe, your number 5 was Can't Hardly Wait. Your number 4 was Varsity Blues. Your number 3 was Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Your number 2 is Dazed and Confused. What, sir, is your number 1?
Rushmore.
Wow.
I Can't Hate You, man. That's a great film.
It was that's obviously I think when everybody discovered Wes Anderson, and so that had a big influence on me as in just films in general. And at that point in time, I wanted to write, I wanted to direct, and I guess I didn't know what the film was about in the advertisement, so I went and saw it. It completely kind of threw me off, and it obviously didn't share any of my high school experiences, other than him being an outsider when he leaves Rushmore Academy and goes to tries to go to regular high school. And I did fence too, so that's one thing I had in common with him. And but Bill Murray was phenomenal in that too. Bill Murray,
Yes,
his
he
career
was.
was relaunched,
Bill
I think,
Murray,
by
yes.
Wes Anderson.
We did a whole episode
Yes.
on Wes Anderson.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
I
did.
mean, we
So,
love Wes Anderson.
Yeah,
That's
Wes
a great
Anderson's
movie.
my favorite director
Yeah.
by far, and so Rushmore's got a special place in my heart.
Well, in 10 years, if he does another 5 films, we'll have you on the show. All right, Dave Locke. Your number 5 is Napoleon Dynamite. Number 4, Toy Soldiers. Number 3, Dead Poets Society. Number 2 was a 3-way tie for My Best Friend's a Vampire, Buffy the Vampire
Amazing.
Slayer, and Once Bitten.
Okay.
What is
Amazing.
your number 1?
Delightful Dave's number 1. It was a Wes Craven film. It was Johnny Depp's first appearance in a major
Nightmare
feature
on
film.
Elm Street.
And
Are
it
you
was
kidding
the
me?
reason why I couldn't fall asleep in high school.
Yes.
I'm your boyfriend now,
Nancy.
All right, Brooks. Death Note was your number 5. Number 4, Superbad. Number 3, I still can't believe we allowed this. X2, X-Men United. Followed
It
up-
counts, man.
Followed
Come
up by
on.
number 2 is Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. I'm really excited to know what your number 1 is.
It's kind of predictable. Dazed and Confused, man.
All right.
It's the one I've probably watched the most.
Party at the Moon Tower.
And,
Put it in
and it was the one that made high school actually look kick-ass. It's
Tell
like
you what, you should drop the 2 geeks you're with now and ride with us.
Just-
We'll work that out later.
made me jealous of like how it must have been for my dad going to school because like they could get away with all kind of shit.
Was your dad that hip?
Probably.
He listened to Foghat.
Yeah, he was probably way cooler.
You
than
look
me.
Hell
like your dad
yeah.
was that cool, dude. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I like you, guy.
All right, James. Your number 5 was 10 Things I Hate About You. Number 4 is Fast Time at Ridgemont High. Number 3 is Better Off Dead. Number 2 is Ferris Bueller's Day Off. What, sir, is your number
What
1?
could possibly?
I'm guarantee you it's something French.
Is it a French film?
It is not.
Damn.
And my thunder has been taken already. It's Rushmore.
Rushmore! Yeah, of course. All right.
Way to go, Holshoe.
Kelsey Patton agrees with you guys.
Yeah.
That is a good movie. And it is about high school. Tell us why.
Well, I mean,
Sorry,
basically
Mike. I
'cause-
took over for you there. For a
That's
second.
perfectly fine. You host another show, too, so.
Just because it's someone who gets to experience the high school experience, but also embellish it in his own way with his scripts and things he writes. Just you get to make it more epic for yourself, kind of deal.
All right, Robbie.
Yes, Mike.
Number 5 is Can't Hardly Wait. Number 4 is Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Number
Ferris
3,
Bueller's Days Off is a very long movie.
But that was the show.
Number 3 is
Do you remember the show?
I remember
Nobody
the show.
remembers that
Yes.
show.
Oh, I
The
totally
two Johns
do.
remember the show. The
I
first episode, he
totally
makes the
remember
Ferris
this.
Bueller signal.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, guys. I mentioned that on episode one day, and no one knew what I was talking about. Thank you, guys.
Yes.
number
Thank
3
you.
is Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Number 2 is The Breakfast Club. What is your number 1?
All right. I don't know. I didn't live in the 70s. Like Brooks said, though, I'm kind of jealous of my parents for kind of being involved in some of that era. Like, for real. Like, if I was misplaced in a decade, which I don't believe I was, but if I could choose another decade to grow up in, I'd go with 70s, yo.
Well, sure.
Busting mailboxes,
Oh, yeah.
listening to
Being
Foghat,
stupid,
getting
yeah.
Aerosmith
I totally did that in
tickets,
high school.
going to the
Totally.
Moon Tower, full fucking
That,
4
that
fucking
really
kegs.
happened. Like, yeah, no, that
Yeah,
really
right?
happened,
Wooderson's
yeah.
my favorite character in a movie, period. It's the movie I've watched the most out of every other movie. It's my 3rd favorite movie of all time, right behind Citizen Kane and American Beauty. So, Dazed and Confused, my favorite high school movie. To me, and I didn't live in the 70s, but I've heard, I've read, I've studied. That's what it was like being in high school in the 70s.
You're a pop culture historian, so you should know.
In Lee High School, Austin, Texas, 1974.
Colombian Gray.
My number 5.
Gerald Ford, y'all. This bicentennial and shit. They were actually, was that 76 then? Anyway, moving on. Yeah.
My number 5
It's a great
is
movie.
My number,
Richard Linklater.
I'm going to talk now. You got anything else to say? You done?
Maybe.
Are you drunk?
Most
I'm
definitely.
drunk as hell, and you can't stop me.
You damn right. Number 5 for me is Napoleon Dynamite. My number 4 is American Graffiti. Then number 3 is Back to the Future. Number 2, Rebel Without a Cause. Number 1, I'm not going to say anything about it because we talked a lot about it already, and that's Fast Times at Ridgemont High. So
You know, everybody's dressing like Pat Benatar this year. I noticed.
They should.
Yeah, right. Right. We belong. Anyway, moving on.
So, but
That's
that's
Battlefield, motherfucker.
that's everybody's top 5. I love Brooks and Dave as usual.
As usual, right?
Blow me away with some of their selections. Dave, if I could give up, I should give out points for the best top 5, shouldn't I? All right, Rockin' with Rockin' Robbie. What do you have for us next week?
Next week, it's all Greek to me. All things Greek, possibly. We'll all be experts in our fields. Maybe some mythology, maybe some
Yogurt?
Greek alphabet, maybe yogurt, maybe wine, maybe the current economic crisis in Greece. I don't know. All things Greek next week. Check it out. Rockin' with Rockin' Robbie here in Huntsville Attic.
Yay!
Yeah!
And in 2 weeks, we'll be having a different kind of thing for the Smiler Else show, and we're
A very special day, right?
yes, it is. We're going
March
music. We're going March.
11th. March 11th, right?
Right, for 311.
311.
We got some cool 311 stories, all things 311. We're going to have some special guests, members of the 311 family. I'd like to thank our special guest,
Delightful Dave.
Locke.
John Printz.
John Holshoe.
the ever-popular Mr.
Brooks.
And with me, as always,
James Lineback.
and
Charismatic Chelsea.
my boss, who I love so dear,
Rockin' Robbie Billups.
What
my
was
name
that?
is Mike, the voice,
The
Matthews, and it's been real.
Yes, 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 yes.